Hey guys, this is Hal for HES Ultimage. For personal channeled messages, go to hesultimage.com, and for DLC energy bracelets. These come in 8 different colors and 3 different variations of metal colors. So there's gold tone, black tone, and silver tone. They're really great, super comfortable, so check them out. Other than that, make sure that you check out the free mini monthly reading contest. Just go to my channel, search for the free mini monthly contest video, and then just leave a comment and you could win it, alright? Okay, that said, let's get to your message. Hey Capricorns, this is Hal for HES Ultimage, and this is your channeled message for the month of February 2016. Hey guys. So the first thing that I got for February is we need to be, oh, okay, hold on, because this is a really complex way of how it came through. The idea was we need to be, like, whatever we want to be, basically. Our aspiration of who we are is really far off right now. So if you have like new goals, new projects, new aspirations, right now the space between you and that project goal or aspiration seems to be really, really wide. And I know how frustrating that is for Capricorns because I have tons of Capricorn energy and I see this like super real in my life already right now. I got there are a lot of big things, and that's the other thing. The emphasis on big was very big. So the idea is whatever it is that we're trying to go for right now, there's big potential around it and big weight behind it, momentum, heft and real, like, okay, I want you to think if something's the weight of a feather, and if something is the weight of like something very large, like a large box, we have the large box, okay? That there's actual heft to what we're working towards. There's actual significance, relevance, etc. But the idea is that we need to begin to bridge the gap between ourselves and that future. And I know everybody has their own kind of theories of metaphysics, but just to tell you a little bit about mine, mine is that whenever we're doing any kind of channeling or anything like that, that we're basically using future information in the present and just kind of breaching into that kind of flow of information, bringing it in so we can utilize it and get to that other point, or understand when we get to that point why the heck it's happening. All right? And to me, it really is as simple as information. I don't subscribe any particular theology to that information or entity to that information. But that said, it's like we all have a timeline, or what I would call a space timeline, okay? And and basically, whenever we're where we are right now, we're always going to wind up exactly where we're supposed to be. And, you know, life is going to move us in different directions or challenge us or influence us in order to, you know, influence our actions, our plans, our timing. But at the end of the day, we're going to wind up where we are. Right now, I feel like we're going to wind up where we're, you know, supposed to be with our goal. But the space between us and that time are so far apart that it's probably going to be a little bit of a battle just getting there because we don't want to do the legwork. And it's funny because Capricorns are an incredibly determined sign. And when I couldn't channel, I was still the type of person who would push, push, push to try and make something happen. For February, the idea is, you know, to get anywhere, we just have to start taking the first steps. And sometimes that can be really annoying because if you know that something's going to take a long time, sometimes it's like, oh God, do I really have to sit down and start writing something? Or do I really have to, you know, sit down and start planning something? And the reality of February is, yeah, we do have to do that. Okay, give me 1 second because I want to fill in more with the other key points here. Okay, you'd be surprised how we change, okay, how we can feel good or bad about how capable we are. Okay, so this is going in a little bit more into what I was describing just then. This is carrying it a little bit deeper. So when we're going through this process of, okay, pretty much weighing ourselves against our goals, in this case, very hefty goals, as it is for February, and what we're trying to move towards, again, the space between us and what we want is pretty wide, and this was the other thing, and this is the hard part, and it's also kind of the key thing that we need to deal with and understand this month. Basically, the idea is the way we feel about ourselves and our capabilities is going to be the real, like, challenge, hurdle, and lesson for this month. It's like sometimes, okay, and I always say this about Capricorns, because this is the truth for me very much so. It's very easy to get down on yourself when you can't make something happen today, okay? And and that's really going to be a big struggle in February because it's like you can't make it happen today or in February. We can't. It's impossible. There's too much work, okay? And as I say this, I'm like, damn it, I have to deal with this too. um but the idea is there's far too much work and too much detail and too much research and too much planning and too much, okay, effort, influence, input that we have to do, and far too many steps in this dance that we have to, dance through to achieve in this time frame of just the month alone, or in the next 2 months even maybe. Like, the space is wide, so we have to start somewhere. And because of the fact that we can't get it done fast, we're going to pretty much get down on ourselves and really frustrated because we want it to happen faster. And I'll throw this out too. For me personally, because I can be tenacious as what I attribute to my wide amount of Capricorn energy in my chart, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of you who can feel this. You can achieve a lot when it comes to how fast you learn because you're determined and because you're willing to do the work to learn. But that doesn't mean our manifestation is going to be as fast as we want it to be, simply because of even semantics and procedures of what we're doing. I mean, just to give you a sample of an example, I'm experimenting with some, like, completely new technology to do some other things I'm trying to do for this channel, and for other things in that, wheelhouse. And sometimes I'll get these tiny little minor problems that drive me crazy with this new kind of stuff I'm working with. And it's stuff that sometimes would be so small, but as Capricorns, we want it to be perfect. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting things to be perfect, wanting things to be clean and accurate and strong. But we're going to drive ourselves up a wall if we keep going, oh, damn it, I'm not learning fast enough, I'm not working hard enough, we're gonna kill ourselves. It's basically like, if anybody's familiar with the book Animal Farm, there's the character Boxer, the horse, who I always attribute to Capricorn energy, because his slogan was, I must work harder. Okay, and I think we're all gonna be acting that way this month, where it's just like, we just keep pushing and pushing, and eventually we just buckle under ourselves. It's, and this is the thing that I really got. The worst thing that we can do is feel like we're not good enough and that we're not trying hard enough, okay? Because we're prone to feeling that way because, again, what we want to manifest is further away because of all of the detail work, because of all the steps, and we're going to get really, frustrated with ourselves. So, again, pull back. Don't allow yourself to take a hatchet to yourself, essentially, because that's exactly what you'll wind up doing. Instead, go, okay, I'm doing good enough by learning the steps to the dance. Maybe I don't have the muscle memory yet. Maybe you're not as fluid or as natural with it yet, but it's a start, and it is going to, okay, every step that you learn, it gets you a little bit closer to that future that's further away. So we still need to do it, okay? All right. Give me a second because I want to make sure I got everything. Okay, this is the other thing. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, and I really already touched on this other key point, which was the idea that sometimes things have to move slower in the present to get us to where we need to go, and there's nothing we can do to speed it up more. Our effort does matter when I describe things like learning the pieces of what our goal is. But again, there's only so much time in a day. There's only so much, energy that we have in a day. going back into Capricorn habits here, sometimes I will research things so tenaciously that I will wear myself down to the point that I'm like, I need a nap. I need to stop. I think I'm gonna be sick. Um, Again, this is the kind of energy we're working with right now, and we need to remember to step back when we're working too hard and when we're being too stubborn about the fact that we can't make it happen right away. All right, but again, if you're going into that kind of focus, and again, especially if you have like Capricorn energies in your chart and then you're working with water stuff like Scorpio or Pisces, that can be one track mind, okay? And I've got a lot of Pisces, so that's that too. But you know, some Capricorns can even like submerge themselves into their work so much that they can't, you know, that it's pretty much like you're going underwater and then you know, stop working and it's like you just got up for air and you're gasping and your like respiratory system's working overtime, but with your brain essentially. So again, realize that you need to come up for air, realize that you can't, you know, do this deep sea dive to get to that treasure at the bottom of the ocean in February. We need to just take things one step at a time. All right, okay. Okay, here we go. And this I already really pretty much threw at you, but I'll just reiterate about it. Yeah, when we get into a negative frame of mind about our own potential or who we are, what we can achieve, I got that it winds up souring our own potential. And again, I've talked about this probably a lot in other Capricorn videos before. Again, I feel this a lot. But it's like basically when we get down on ourselves, then we're just like, oh, like I can't make anything work. I'm not doing a great job enough. I'm not working hard enough. I'm not doing enough work to I'm not creating enough to prove to myself that what I'm doing is worthwhile. All right. All of that might try and play on you this month in your own mind, essentially, because it's just us, okay? It's just us. When it's external, I tell that. This is all internal, guys. All internal. But the thing that I got was, you know, if we want to improve this month, we must remember we can shift our okay, I got our senses, but really it's our mind, our perception, etc. towards okay, when we have habits towards thinking negatively about ourselves because we're not turning things over quick enough or we're not um learning as fast as we want to manifest or implementing what we've learned fast enough to manifest things as perfectly as we'd want them to. That again, time is necessary. And I want for you to give yourself, like, you know, that little bit of relief by going, okay, if the future is here and I'm here, and February I can only get here, that's all that's humanly possible. All right? And then we can get to the rest of the space eventually. But right now, we have to remember that, you know, we have our limits, and that's okay. But at the same time, taking those little steps, learning, working, testing, working out our procedures, learning the steps of the dance, all of that stuff, that's a-okay this month. And remember, that's the real work, okay? So that said, I wish you a great February, and I'll see you later.